Genius Act explained how it blocks big tech and banks from dominating stablecoins. Here's the bombshell. New legislation just slammed the door on big tech and banking giants controlling the future of stablecoins, and the implications are massive. According to Dante Despart, Circle's chief strategy officer, the newly passed Genius Act contains a critical provision blocking corporate dominance that almost flew under the radar. But here's where it gets controversial. Dubbed the Libra clause by Despart himself, a cheeky nod to his own legacy, this rule forces any non-bank entity, think tech titans or fintech firms, to establish completely independent subsidiaries if they want to issue dollar-pegged tokens. Picture this: they must structure operations more like Circle, a crypto-native company, than traditional banks, jump through rigorous antitrust hoops, and face a Treasury Department committee armed with veto power over their launches. No shortcuts allowed. And banks? They don't escape scrutiny. If lenders dive into stablecoins, they must house them in legally siloed subsidiaries with ultra-conservative balance sheets, zero risk-taking, zero leverage, and absolutely no lending permitted. Despart notes this framework is even stricter than models proposed by giants like JP Morgan. He argues this creates clear rules where the real winners are US consumers, market participants, and the dollar itself. Now, let's talk bipartisan momentum. The Genius Act stormed through the House last week with over 300 votes, including 102 Democrats. It arms the US dollar with rules-based firepower in the global digital currency race, finally giving crypto the legitimization and regulatory clarity it craved, per Despart. Smaller issuers, under $10 billion, still follow state-level money transmitter laws, but crossing that threshold triggers a mandatory national trust bank charter, a huge shift in oversight. But here's the explosive twist: the law outright bans interest-bearing stablecoins, enforces ironclad disclosure rules, and slaps criminal penalties on issuers of unbacked stable tokens. Despart declares terror-style catastrophic experiments gone for good. Cue the controversy. Critics blast the yield ban as a gift to overseas competitors and a barrier to mainstream adoption. Why? Because everyday users and institutions, who have fiduciary duties to seek returns, lose easy on-chain yield options. Despart counters that yield belongs in secondary markets via DeFi, once the regulatory foundation is rock solid. And this is the part most people miss: that yield prohibition might ignite a DeFi explosion. Analysts like Nick Parkran and CoinFund's Christopher Perkins predict the ban could funnel massive demand toward Ethereum-based DeFi platforms. Why? With stablecoins barred from offering interest, DeFi becomes the go-to arena for passive crypto income. Retail users might adapt, but institutions, legally obliged to chase yields, could flood DeFi with capital, especially on Ethereum where most value is locked in protocols. Brace for impact: stablecoin summer might just morph into DeFi summer. Let's debate: does shielding consumers from unstable coins justify stifling yield innovation? Or does this hand an unfair advantage to offshore players and cripple US competitiveness? Could DeFi truly absorb institutional billions safely? Sound off below. Do you agree with the Genius Act's safeguards, or is this regulatory overreach? Crypto's historic week, the Genius Act and its implications. A historic week for cryptocurrency in America. In a groundbreaking moment for the cryptocurrency landscape, President Trump proudly showcased the Genius Act, the first significant piece of legislation regarding crypto to be passed by Congress, during a signing ceremony at the White House in Washington, D.C., on July 18, 2025. This marks a pivotal shift in the U.S. government's approach to digital currencies, which had long been viewed as too perilous for the average citizen and too risky for the nation's financial framework. However, that perception has dramatically changed. Earlier this week, the House of Representatives made history by voting in favor of the first major crypto legislation in the United States, indicating a significant transformation in the government's attitude towards these digital assets. Following this vote, the total market capitalization of cryptocurrencies soared to an unprecedented $4 trillion, reflecting the palpable excitement within the sector. During a celebratory event on Friday, President Trump, who has expressed his ambition to establish America as the crypto capital of the world, officially enacted the bill into law amidst enthusiastic applause from Republican lawmakers. Today, we take a monumental step to solidify America's leadership in global finance and cryptocurrency technology with the signing of the landmark Genius Act, Trump declared. This new legislation introduces regulations for a specific yet promising area of the crypto market known as stablecoins. It also lays the groundwork for additional legislation, as 2 other crypto-related bills are currently progressing through Congress. Among these, the Clarity Act stands out as a priority for the crypto community. Passed by the House on Thursday as part of what Republican lawmakers have dubbed Crypto Week, this bill aims to transfer regulatory authority over the crypto sector to a smaller agency known as the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC. This potential shift could significantly alter the regulatory landscape for digital currencies in the U.S., raising concerns among critics who fear it may lead to insufficient oversight of what they view as a precarious segment of the financial industry. The bill is now headed to the Senate, where its future remains uncertain, and opponents of the legislation are prepared to mount a vigorous defense against it. For advocates of cryptocurrency, this week was a moment to celebrate. Proponents of digital currencies have long maintained that these assets represent the future of financial transactions. While they acknowledge the existence of less reputable elements within the sector, such as meme coins that are based on fleeting internet trends, they assert that cryptocurrencies can deliver genuine value. Stablecoins serve as a prime example of this potential. These digital currencies are considered safer because each stablecoin is required to be backed by a reserve of traditional currency, such as dollars or euros. This means that if you purchase $1 worth of stablecoin, the issuing company must hold $1 in reserve. Companies involved in stablecoins see immense opportunities ahead. Since stablecoins are pegged to traditional currencies, they are effectively treated as cash equivalents. Industry leaders believe that stablecoins will enable individuals and businesses to transfer funds as digital currency globally, instantly, and without the burdensome fees typically associated with banks or money transfer services. For instance, a company receiving $100 in stablecoins can easily convert that into $100 in actual dollars, thanks to the backing of each stablecoin. Many in the industry view this capability as revolutionary. I believe that in the next 10 to 20 years, stablecoins will become the standard for commerce, predicts Kevin Latanaity, CEO of Borderless.xyz, a firm specializing in stablecoin transactions. However, not everyone shares this optimistic view. Critics of the Genius Act argue that while it does provide some safeguards, such as requiring stablecoin companies to maintain adequate reserves and ensuring transparency regarding their holdings, the regulations are insufficient and overly influenced by the crypto industry through extensive lobbying and substantial campaign contributions. Last year, the crypto sector invested over $100 million in congressional races and is amassing an even larger war chest ahead of the upcoming midterm elections. It's all just hype, and there's not much substance behind it, states Amanda Fisher, Policy Director and COO of the consumer advocacy group Better Markets. While there are certainly issues within the current payment system, this bill does not address them. In fact, it may exacerbate many existing problems. These issues could ultimately harm consumers and the economy if stablecoins gain traction without adequate regulatory protections. Despite the criticisms, the stablecoin industry staunchly defends the provisions established by the Genius Act, which received considerable bipartisan support. The law sets a very clear standard that even large banks would need to follow if they were to issue payments in stablecoins, asserts Dante Despart, Chief Strategy Officer for Circle, a major stablecoin issuer. You wouldn't have seen 102 Democrats voting alongside their Republican colleagues for the Genius Act if it failed to meet basic consumer protection standards. I believe this bill represents the most significant financial regulation we've seen in decades, if not in American history, in terms of promoting a pro-growth, pro-competition, and pro-consumer agenda. As President Trump signs the Genius Act into law, the crypto sector remains determined to advance its agenda. Despite facing criticism, the cryptocurrency industry feels empowered by its financial resources and the backing of a powerful ally, President Trump. The Trump family has controversially engaged with the crypto sector, holding financial interests in World Liberty Financial, a company investing in various aspects of the industry, including the launch of its own stablecoin. Looking ahead, the crypto sector's next major objective is the Clarity Act, which seeks to diminish the regulatory authority of the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, often referred to as Wall Street's watchdog. The SEC has historically taken a tough stance against the crypto industry, particularly under the Biden administration, which aimed to enforce compliance with the same regulations that govern traditional financial institutions. However, crypto advocates argue that digital currencies are a novel financial product that requires a distinct regulatory framework, one that critics suggest the crypto industry is attempting to shape to its advantage through significant electoral spending. People could find themselves in a precarious situation, facing a barrage of new products with less oversight and increased risk, warns Mark Hayes, Associate Director for Cryptocurrency and Financial Technology at Americans for Financial Reform. We are conducting an uncontrolled experiment on our financial system using a technology that has yet to fulfill its promises. For now, with a significant victory achieved through the passage of the Genius Act, the cryptocurrency industry forges ahead.